Alright, welcome to part 2. When we started this video, I started with the trig, the sum of the trig IDs, the sum and the difference IDs, and we were using sine and sine. So now I'm going to switch to cosine and cosine. So I've written them here so you can pause and write them as well. I was wondering what it happens if I add the two together. Were you wondering as well? Well, you can go ahead and add them. So we have cosine A plus B plus cosine A minus B. Come back in. Here on this side, when we add these and these, this disappears, and we have cosine A cosine B plus cosine A cosine B, or 2 cosine A cosine B. Oops, divide both sides by 2. Write this on the left and this on the right. And I put the 1/2 divided by 2 is the same as 1/2 out in front. And I get cosine A plus B cosine A minus B. Alright, so 3 down and 1 to go. I better check these. Looks good. Alright, the next one I forgot to write it out, so you get to watch. Cosine again, we're going to use the cosine of the sum and difference. Remember how cosine of A plus B starts out with cosine, cosine, and sine, sine. And remember the pattern, this is always AB, AB. Cosine of A minus B is just like cosine of A plus B, except this sine SIGN. Alright, I was wondering what happens if I would add these two together, but first I'm going to multiply the bottom one by -1 to get something different than I got up here. Oh yeah, this is I always want to box in the new trig IDs. So I'm going to put a minus, minus, minus. So when I multiply the bottom by a -1, everything becomes minus. Now I have cosine, is that in the screen? Cosine A plus B minus cosine A minus B. That's all I can do with that. And now I'm going to see that these cross out, and I have a minus sine A sine B and another minus sine A sine B. So when I add those, I get a -2 sine A sine B. Alright, this time I'm going to divide both sides by a -2. And move this to the left, sine A, sine B equals, and I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I don't usually like dividing by a negative number, so I can move that negative out in front of the top. So it can move from downstairs to upstairs, but it will affect everything upstairs. So I'm going to clean that up algebraically. Where were the cleanup crew when I needed them? When the blueberries went ballistic in the grocery store. Well, I still haven't got over that. I did go back to the grocery store as I got back on the cart, on the horse, and I did not see any trace of any blueberry stains anywhere. Okay, I did make another mess, but it was little. I'll tell you about that if you ask. Alright, sine A, sine B, and I'm cleaning this up, so I put a positive 1/2 in front. And then that negative sign causes this to be negative. This negative sign will affect this, and then it'll cause this to be positive. So, because it's a negative expression. So I'm going to put the one that becomes positive first, and the one that becomes negative second. So I hope you can follow that. And that is our fourth trig ID for tonight, and it is another product to sum. And this one is a product to a sum. And there are 4 more, but I think I would rather show you tomorrow in class. And that's when we're going to go from a sum to a product. And it's kind of hard to show on a video because I kind of need a large space to develop it. And it's not hard to develop it, but you need sort of a lot in the screen at once. So I think that's all we're going to do for this video. Sad but true. So if you would add these 4 product to sum trig IDs to your list of trig IDs in your comp book. And I would like to check those. So one of these days I'll actually remember to do that, to see that you have them all on your trig ID page. So, all right, that's all for today or this evening. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.